You know, I have not really made it hidden that I'm what they call a normie to DC Comics. I, like most people whose brains haven't completely turned into a soup kitchen, know who Batman and Superman is. I know The Flash is very fast, and The Green Lantern was one of the worst movies ever made. The original Superman movie starring Christopher Reeve was before my time, but I liked it when I was a kid and still do. But it was Batman '89 that really captured the attention of a 7-year-old me. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was released a month before Batman, and I remember going into the theaters pretending to be Indiana Jones and coming out pretending to be Batman. Of course, by the late 90s, that was all gone. For every nipple they put on the Batsuit, that killed half of my childhood. If anybody's keeping score, that's a whole childhood. And then one of my favorite all-time independent directors got a job bringing Batman back. I was in my 20s, but man, I felt like I was 7 again. And yeah, I know, The Dark Knight Returns gets shaky marks at best. It was a bloated mess with a lot of things happening that didn't make much sense, and its timing was all over the place. It had the second worst Catwoman of all time, who was about as sexy as a plank of wood wrapped in a trash bag, and was about as believable as Eliza Blue's story about being trafficked multiple times. But with all that said, when Christopher Nolan left, it seems the DC Extended Universe can't really find its identity. They looked at Marvel's success and wanted their own Avengers. They wanted to compete. Problem was, they didn't want to take the time like Marvel did with their characters. With movie after movie, Marvel built up to the ultimate crescendo that was Infinity War and Endgame. They carefully made sure every Avenger had their own backstory, how they banded together, and reason why they were standing up to Thanos. So the DC studio did the only thing they thought would make them competitive. Smoke a bunch of crack and pray for the best.
Not a great plan.
And it was off to a speedy and sloppy start. DC casted probably the best person to ever play Superman, Henry Cavill. Just look at him. He was born to play Superman. Problem was, Cavill was stuck inside a mediocre film that was just not appealing enough to ever revisit. And I'm sorry, Snyderverse fans, but the Snyderverse sucked all the life and joy out of the DCEU. Because within a span of 1 year, all of a sudden Superman was fighting Batman, Wonder Woman is showing up, and then Superman dies. Afterwards, we're treated to a Wonder Woman origin story. The same year, the Justice League formed and Superman returns from the dead, but it was all under a new director who was the old director of the Marvel Avengers. Oh yeah, they forgot to give an origin story to some of the other heroes in the Justice League. So a year later, Aquaman is the fish out of water or the fish in water origin story that is completely forgettable. Shazam got his own movie. I don't even know if he's even part of the Justice League without having to look it up. And dear God, by the time I walked out of his movie, I didn't really care to look it up either. But wait, Zack Snyder didn't like how the original Justice League was done in his absence, so he recut the original film the way he wanted to present it. And that was re-released as Zack Snyder's Justice League after Wonder Woman 1984, a sequel to Wonder Woman, but a prequel to Justice League. Which Justice League? I don't know. Pick one. They're both two different turds in the same toilet bowl. And on the 7th day, Warner Brothers' production team of crackheads got to sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor, unwind, and sing a little karaoke.
I remember when I lost my mind. Yeah.
She was the one who wrote Wonder Woman 1984. In short, for a normie, this is all one really big clusterfuck of a movie studio. It is so manic in terms of tone and structure. Warner Brothers' new CEO, David Zaslav, and new head of DC Studios, James Gunn, have recognized just how schizophrenic everything has become. So in order to bring back everything to a level of sanity, they looked to one man, Ezra Miller. What? Sure, he's beaten a woman on every single continent on God's green earth, including Antarctica, but this Flash movie is really good. I mean, this is a movie that's going to fix everything wrong with the DCEU. And who better to fix things than a man accused of grooming minors and leading a cult? And when a person of such stature is the lead of a film that you're staking an entire studio on, there's only one way to market it.
I'm Batman.
Wait, what? So this Flash movie is going to be basically Batman No Wayne Home? An elegant ripoff of what Spider-Man already managed to do? We haven't really learned our lesson about going after what Marvel's already done, have we, DC? And I'm going to be honest, the 7-year-old that still resides in my soul did jump for joy when he saw Keaton in the Batsuit again. I mean, the man still has it. Back in the day, on paper, Keaton should not have worked as Batman. But yet, as soon as he puts that mask over his face, it's like watching a living, breathing Batman. How could you not be excited? It's like Cavill. He is tailor-made to be Batman. And then there's the '89 Batmobile making its return, and the machine is just a thing of beauty. Yes, the Tumbler had its time to shine and its moment in Gotham's lower whacker. Whacker? But the '89 Batmobile is just a work of art. Damn it! I already feel myself falling for the nostalgia feeling the Flash trailer is trying to bait out of me. Damn you, marketers! And I do have to say, the marketing team deserves all sorts of awards because this most likely will be a success. People are going to be so excited about Keaton's Batman showing up that they'll happily ignore Ezra Miller pile-driving women into the ground.
You want to fight? Is that the deal?
Whoa, bro.
Warner Brothers apparently was chewing over 3 different choices on how to deal with Ezra's issues in The Flash. The first option would see Ezra try and secure some kind of counseling and then give an interview in the future explaining his erratic behavior. After that period, Miller could go do some small press for The Flash before it opens in theaters. Scenario 2 would see Warner Brothers Discovery still choose to release the film, but the star would do no press for The Flash. Also, there's no way Miller could be the DC Comics hero going forward. And lastly, there was a third option, to nuke the completed Flash project and shelve it like they did Batgirl. But just like every woman he meets, Ezra has beaten adversity. He's taken a back seat to selling his own film, and Warner Brothers' marketing team has let a cameo, probably equating to no more than 20 minutes of screen time, be the dominant driving force for ticket sales. And I'm here to tell you that it's going to work. You don't have to like what I'm saying because I don't like it myself. But that's the nature of the beast. Hollywood's been doing this game for over 100 years now, and there is nothing they can't cover up where there's over $400 million at stake. Nostalgia is a wonderful thing to tap into, and Warner seems to have done just that. The Flash movie will open to much fanfare, and it was a nice touch for the writers to put 2 Flashes in the movie, so Ezra can finally be the they-them he's always claimed to be. And when the credits roll, then this DC universe written by crackheads will fuck right off. But God only knows into what. Because my personal take is James Gunn kind of blew it when he made the announcement for Blue Beetle, Waller, Creature Commandos. What? What the hell are these things? Who the hell are these people? Nobody gives a shit about these properties. Gunn should have come out and addressed the fact that he understands the fans are on the ragged edge, but they should give him a chance to fail first. I think it's great that he came out and explained Elseworlds, where standalone comic book movies like The Batman and Joker live, and never shall the twain meet. It really organizes what is going on with these standalone stories for the normies. But when it comes to announcing the DC universe, he should have named 2 and only 2 projects, Batman and Superman, because these are the only 2 properties the masses really care about. And if I was James Gunn, I would have made it clear as crystal that these 2 characters will be the characters you know and love. No origin story that has been pounded into our skulls previously. No deconstruction of these characters that turn our heroes into 100% grade A bitches. Bruce Wayne is Batman. Clark Kent is Superman, and he will fight for truth, justice, and the American way. And while we're on the subject, Dick Grayson will always be Robin, not Damian Wayne. Who the hell is Damian Wayne? You are already mixing what should have been an Elseworlds character into the DC universe. You can already tell that this is turning into an organizational mess, much like DC found itself in the previous 10 years. James Gunn has left a lot to be desired in his announcement. Couple this with the fact that he's fired the perfectly casted and super dreamy Cavill, but is sticking behind Ezra Miller, whose toxic cloud is only rivaled by East Palestine, Ohio's. This has fans rightfully on edge. They've been let down so many times before by so many different franchises in the past that they are just pretty much waiting for confirmation that James Gunn is going to ruin what's left of DC. If he does completely destroy what's left of these characters, then he deserves to know nothing but darkness because the light of his career should be turned off in a flash. So I guess I'm left with a few questions. Do we give James Gunn a chance to fail? Or is it finally time to move on to something different and take our childhoods with us? Maybe it's time to start guarding our nostalgia rather than letting marketing teams manipulate it. But damn, that '89 Batmobile sure does look badass.
I'm Batman.
And I'm out of here.